Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Capital to the Coast BNI. My name is Mike Manning. Each week, we bring you a local small business success story from one of our 37 chapters that go all the way from Durham to New Bern. Triangle is Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill, and we have some chapters east of that, which are part of the coastal region. And if you're not familiar with BNI, it is Business Networking International, the world's largest networking organization. And our goal each week is to help our fellow members grow their business because we know, as BNI tells us, givers gain. And it's worked all parts of your life. The more you give, the more you get. So that is our goal each week. Our local small business success story this week is Matt Haveramp with Enradius and the North Carolina Ad Network. And we'll explain that for you a little bit. Matt is with Bull City Business Leaders. They meet Thursday mornings at 11:15 at Clouds Brewing in Durham. They have 31 members, and so if you're ever in the area on Thursday morning, good group of people to get to know. Matt holds the digital marketing seat in the chapter. Matt, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good. Glad to have you on the show. Uh,
Same.
so I always tell people in some areas, they gotta hire experts. Now, here's
Right.
why you need to hire Matt, but I don't think Matt knows this one's coming on why I recommend him. Okay. So some people just, when they get hurt or sick, they just mail it in. They get whiny and stuff. Matt had some knee surgery a couple weeks ago. Dude is still working, still delivering for his clients. So if you need somebody that's going to play hard for you, he's the guy. So how's the knee recovery coming?
The knee recovery is going well. I got it up to 115-degree bend. I'm
Oh,
hopeful that I'll get it to about 120 by PT tomorrow. The PT is no joke, but you got to do the work. Got to do
and
the work if you want to get paid at the end.
yep. And I know that a few people listening have probably had knee surgery, and they know exactly what 120 is.
Yeah,
And they know it's a
exactly.
big deal. Is your family still, or do they continue to make fun of you because you are limping around or slower than others? Yeah,
Yes,
good.
especially when I break out the cane.
Yep, good. Yep, that's
Yep.
good family. That shows you've been raising some kids right to give you
Right.
that grief back. So,
Exactly.
all right, so digital marketing. So here's what I can tell you about Matt is he helps clients in advertise in a number of ways, but we're going to break down that word advertise because it's different today. Back then, Matt, way back when, it was
Hmm.
TV, radio, or for us older folks, it was the yellow pages, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So I tell us who Enradius is.
So, Enradius is an expert at geo-targeting, geofencing, getting the right message to the right customer at the right time on the right digital platform. Essentially, we broker ad deals for small to mid-sized companies.
All right. So if I'm coming out of an auto mechanic or an auto supply store, you can grab my information
Correct.
and then
Correct.
now explain to people how you use that information to benefit your clients.
So essentially, what we try to do is we try to create fences around locations. And so when someone is on a mobile device, they're on an app, they'll get that ad. Well, now when they leave, we want to retarget them. We want to get them different locations. They might go to a different auto parts store, right? We want to target them when they reach that area as well.
So, folks, that's what's going on with your phone, but people like Matt are using it for good. And that's how they
Correct.
help their client because don't fool yourself that your computer at home, they don't know what you're shopping for or what you buy and
Exactly.
everything like that. So, but this is where we are in the advertising age now, aren't we?
Yes, we are definitely. Well, and it's about eliminating waste,
Mm.
right? So back in the day, it was this whole spray and pray that you will get those clients coming in. Well, now everything's expensive, so use that money wisely and making sure you're getting to the right customer at the right time, and then hitting them up different places.
Yeah, my wife and I were out running some errands yesterday, and over by where we live, there was a Mazda in a movie theater parking lot at like 10:15 yesterday morning. 30 or 40 Mazda cars. I mean, all you can
Yeah.
tell they're back from the 60s, some cool stuff. But that's the value of what you do is because you want those Mazda owners. You don't want all car owners.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And so we look at intent data, we look at location data, we look at behavioral data and try to get to that right person over and over and over again. Because it's not the first time that you hit them. It's the second time you've hit them, or the third or the fourth, because it takes that recall.
And been preaching on the show for a long time. We want ideal clients. So you could pay Matt to advertise to any car owner and you'll get thousands of people. But if he finds you 1,000 Mazda owners and you sell Mazda parts, there's the win, folks. So that's what Matt
Right.
does today.
Exactly.
I was on your website over the weekend.
Okay.
Love the tagline where Southern roots meet digital reach. All
There you
right, what's
go.
the story behind that?
Um, so Enradius, and I'll take you way back. So Enradius decided to localize everything because, you know, one, um, we want local dollars to stay local, right? So we don't want all these dollars going to these national players. We want them to go local. So every ad network, because we got a Maryland ad network, we got a Virginia ad network, Delaware, you name it. It was all about what is that right place? What is that right tagline for the North Carolina ad network? So it is all about Southern roots, but we're all about digital. So it's all about connecting those dots there.
When you and I talked last week, I was amazed at the number of platforms you get on because it's way
Yeah.
more than TV and radio. Why don't you talk a little
Oh,
bit about
yeah.
those?
Yeah. So I always like to say, too, it's not necessarily just the channel because you got to have a strategy behind that. But there are so many different places that we can play. It starts really with mobile display, digital display, right? Then we go into paid search. So that's hitting up the top of those keywords. Then we've got paid social. So that's advertising across the meta platforms of Facebook and also on Instagram. Well, then we can also do streaming audio, streaming video. So that are commercials across Pandora, Spotify, Netflix, YouTube, you name it, those different types of platforms. And then the last one is digital out of home. So that is you're walking through the mall and there's a kiosk and there's an ad on that kiosk, or you're checking out at Harris Teeter and up on the screen is an ad, or you're pumping your gas and all of a sudden the screen comes on and there is an ad for your company at that point. So it's all about getting to that right person at that right time. So it's an over sort of an overarching campaign, right? So you want to hit people at different points.
So when I talk to business owners that are closer to my age than your age, and technology comes up and some of them you've seen
Hmm.
this look, yeah, I don't know if that's for me. I'm like, let me stop you right here, okay? So my wife and I have two boys. At the end of this year, they'll be 40 and 36.
Okay.
Everything they do is on their phone.
Right.
The long gone days of paper and pencil. And
Right.
so, and I know you have this conversation with owners.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I totally do. But they need to play there. They
Mhm.
need to be there.
Yep.
They have to be there because that is where their customer is going to. I mean, we spend more time on our phones than I think on anything else. I don't like getting that alert from my iPhone that I've been on my phone 7 more hours than I worked last week. And I'm like, no, no, no. But that's the truth
Yeah.
because that's where a lot of the business gets done. Emails, and then it's waiting in line. So you're logging in and you're checking out WRL.com and places like that. So this is what gets the world working.
And if you want your next generation of clients, let's say you're serving the 45 and up age group,
Hmm.
and you want, I mean, you got, it's amazing. My boys, I'm sure your kids are the same way. They'll edit on their phone while I'm trying
Yes.
to open up my laptop to log in to figure out, and they just do it right there. But that's how they're good. That's how they are now. And their
Right.
kids, like my two oldest grandkids, they kind of know their way around a phone.
Yeah. Well, and now it's so much easier to book things, to buy
Mhm.
things. I ordered my mom flowers for Mother's Day. And normally I would use my computer, but I've gotten to the point where now it's like you can trust that device.
Yeah.
So you're going to communicate with a potential customer on the phone. You're also going to maybe have them buy and or order or book.
Yeah. Uh, Always curious to know bloodlines for clients on the show. So, is there a connection to digital or marketing in your family anywhere?
There's not, absolutely nowhere. My dad was a dermatologist. My mom was a jack of all trades. She taught chemistry. She ran the bookkeeping for my dad's
Oh,
dermatology practice. She ran garden clubs. She was part of the National Trust for Historical Preservation and tried to rebuild parts of Goldsboro, North Carolina. So no, I think it was for me. Um, Growing up, I was really bad at handwriting. It took me a long time to get my ideas out. So my parents bought me a laptop in eighth grade, um, back in the late 80s. And I was typing up um, papers
yep.
because I could think much faster. And I think that's what started it all.
Okay, so hang on a sec. So Amnon is the producer of the show, folks, if you don't know. And the second you said computer, his ears perked up. All right, what kind of
Did it?
computer? I got to ask for him. What kind
Oh
of
my
computer
gosh.
was it?
I don't even remember at this point. I mean, I remember the first computer we ever bought was a desktop Tandy from Radio Shack. Um, I know it was black and white, and it was pretty heavy.
Yeah,
I
that was
remember
a
that, and
trash 80.
yeah, probably. But I also had a mobile printer that they
Oh,
had, but it was like a brick,
yep.
and it sat on the edge of the table, and the paper just went straight through. So
But it
yeah.
came in handy when you needed it, didn't it?
Oh, it did. It did. I think I would burn through so much ink, though. The ink did not last like today's ink.
All right, so pretty much all of your life has been in sales, different, I mean,
Yeah.
major brands, different industries, things like that. Uh, your first month as a salesperson, do you remember what that was like when you finally like, all right, I'm paying for myself now. Now I got to actually go get some clients.
It was try to absorb as much as possible from my boss, listen as much as possible because I really had no idea what I was doing.
Mhm.
I knew I was good with people. I'd always been good with people, but and my boss always said people buy from people.
Yep.
And so that sort of stuck with me. So it really was, how do I build relationships? And back then, it was really building them over the phone, which is kind of tough to do.
Yep.
It's much easier these days to meet people for coffees or lunch or even Zoom now, right? To really start to build that relationship. But that's really mostly what I was trying to do, is talk to as many people as possible.
What was your first job out of college was where?
I actually ran retail for
Okay.
Abercrombie and Fitch. So I
All
was
right.
a store manager and then got my own store in Durham.
Do you remember a couple of your first clients who walked in, kind of maybe didn't know what they want and you sold them something or upsold them or anything like that?
Um, I no, but I do distinctly remember there was a policy we had, that no one could buy anything off the mannequins, and it was an unwritten policy, which kind of silly. And I remember um, this woman walking in, and she got into it with another one of the associates there, one of my employees, because they wouldn't take the T-shirt off.
Mm.
And so she came to me, and it turned out her daughter was there for Duke for cancer treatments, and I was like,
Ooh.
"What are we doing?
Yep.
Like, just take the T-shirt off.
Yeah.
We'll move on. We will be just fine." And I think that also said, like, just humans are humans. To treat them that way.
Yeah. Your first traditional sales job was what?
I was a salesperson for Nando Media, which is the old NNO, News and Observer. Nando was the digital arm for all of McClatchy newspapers, and they had built their own content management system. They had ad placement services that they could outsource or they could sell. So I was basically going out there and reaching out to other publishers, um, to understand their needs as far as their content management goes. How are they taking what was print and moving it into digital? So I was establishing relationships with publishers across the country to understand what were their pain points.
And as you were starting to grow your book of business for that, and then pretty much every job after that, what were some of the things you found that worked for you to basically onboard new clients?
Um, it got back into listening, to really understanding what their pain points were, and ensuring that we were going to be able to alleviate that pain. And then it was persistence. It was a lot of just go after, call, check in, understand, the person that you're talking to, when's their birthday.
Yeah.
So if you wish them happy birthday, really connecting with people.
Yeah, I wish more people, even if you're not in the traditional sales role, that they would understand the value of creating a reason to reach out to my client.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just so I'm sure you've created it, just or you learned something like, "Hey, I heard it was Little Billy's whatever."
Right. Right. That those little things matter because we all want to be treated, you
Mhm.
know, the best way, and we want to be treated as humans, and know that somebody cares about us.
Yep. Uh,
So
yep. And so there's a reason why Matt's wearing green today. Would you like to share a quick story on that?
I'm a huge NFL fan. I grew up a Washington Redskins, now Commanders fan. My dad grew up in Alexandria, Virginia. My grandmother would send me clippings from the Washington Post. I was a huge Theismann fan, Rippin, Doug Williams, you name it. Love those guys. Um, they got taken over. I didn't like the owner, so I became a Carolina Panthers fan as I moved back to North Carolina. And then over the years, I suddenly became this Alabama fan. I was working for a direct mail company out of just outside of Birmingham, Alabama, and you were either an Auburn fan or a Bama fan, and it was mostly Bama fans. And I became a Jalen Hurts fan. And little by little, this team called the Philadelphia Eagles started drafting not only Alabama fans or Alabama players, but also Georgia and
Mhm.
other SEC teams. And there was something about this group of people, this blue collar mentality. And it wasn't until the Super Bowl and the Kelsey and all this, I don't know, there's something about them that how much they fought and they kept going and they stuck together, that I just really, really loved. And it was also this whole go birds thing
Yeah.
because I'm a Tar Heel and I love my heels. But I will walk around in my Tar Heel gear and I will say to somebody else wearing something in, Carolina blue, go heels. And they'll look at me like I've got three heads. Except when I'm wearing my green
Yeah.
and wearing my birds, I get go birds and it's right back and forth. So there was something about these guys that I just
Yeah.
absolutely adored.
Yeah, and to put a bow on this moral of the story, moral of the question is that, folks, is a creating a connection point. So
Yeah.
I work out of the house. So last week I was at Panera because sometimes I just have to get out of the house, put my earbuds in and drink their sweet tea and, do my stuff. And there's a friend of mine, Dan Prendergast, who's been on the show years ago, a huge Cleveland Indians fan. And I'm like, I'm looking, just taking a break, scrolling through ESPN.com for scores and stuff like that. It's like, you know what? So I sent Dan an email. Hey, how you feel about the first 30 games? And the first thing, the first line in his response was, "Hey, Mike, great to hear from you." And then he gave me his answer. But folks, the value of knowing those little things like that, whether they're a sports car enthusiast, they just got
Hmm.
back from a ski trip because they told you 4 months ago they were going skiing in March, things like that. And because not all of your competitors do that.
Yeah. No, exactly. Exactly. Once again, it goes back to that human connection.
Yeah. We buy generally from sources we trust, and Matt mentioned that earlier. And it matters, folks. I'm telling you, if you are in the sales, any version of sales, and you've got a client you're trying to onboard and get to pay you, find something, find a reason to reach out. Hey, Matt, I know last time we talked, you had mentioned this book or this podcast. Hey, I was listening a couple weeks ago. I thought of you when I was listening to this podcast, and send it to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Folks, you can't put a price on it, but I know some companies have. So,
Yeah, exactly.
now, in the sales world, you tend to move around a lot. So, how do all some of those different opportunities come about?
And when you mean move around, like change job
Yeah, or
wise,
even a
or
role in a company, things like that. Yeah.
so, I always sort of take jobs with me when I go. I take something I've learned
Mm.
and I try to build off that. And so, for this, I had never, I've been in digital advertising for most of my career, but mostly on the sales support, the building of products, and selling those products internally, and then helping the salespeople go out and sell. And it wasn't until I was also a small business owner myself
Mhm.
where I started to see that there's big agency tools, but small business owners and even mid-size don't really get access to them
Yeah.
and don't really get the love and care and support that they need. They just usually get people who just want to sell, make the money, and just keep taking and keep taking and keep taking and not adding any value. And so that's where, for me, like jumping to Enradius and the North Carolina Ad Network was like, all right, all roads have led to this point, because I know how to build relationships. I understand advertising strategy. Now it's like, how do you put those two together in one package?
It just the evolution of the sales world and just technology in general. I'm like a 2 out of 10 on my best day in technology. I'm happy when I figured something out and the rest of the world already knew about it. And begin going back to our kids, they're like, "What took you so long?" You know?
Right, right.
But the digital world, I mean, we've been on the air 23 minutes and something new has come up in your world, hasn't it?
Oh, I probably has. I'm gonna need to figure it out and learn it, and play around with it and master it.
What what makes somebody decide, okay, I think digital marketing, I hear you, I know it's time, it's everywhere. What finally makes them pull the trigger?
It's usually that trust that we're going to do this on a small scale to start,
Mhm.
and not like spend gobs and gobs of money and just hope and pray, because it's all about starting small and then figuring out and growing and optimizing and whatnot. And once they get to that piece, that it's not, I don't need thousands upon thousands of dollars and a 12-month commitment contract. It's okay, let's test something, let's learn from it, and
Mhm.
let's move on. That's when they start to grasp it. And if I'm bringing new ideas, and sometimes those new ideas, and I was meeting with a potential client last Friday, and I was given even ideas that don't even concern me. Well, don't even service me. He's not going to pay me for those, but it's stuff that I felt like he needed to know, so he can continue to grow his business even without my
Mm.
services.
I like that. Do you consider reviews part of digital marketing?
Reviews, kind of, yes. So you're like listing
Yeah,
services and like Yelp and things like
yeah.
that to a degree. I remember running the cosmetology aesthetic school. The hard part were sometimes getting those bad reviews and what to
Mhm.
do with them. And we tried to take them and not really, we didn't delete them. We always kept them on. And we just gave it as an opportunity to have that discussion. And maybe it was a misunderstanding.
Mhm.
Maybe it's an opportunity for us to learn that maybe we need to change some things, and whatnot. So I tried to flip it like that. But I think reviews are, um, but it's they're tricky.
But you just need to be aware of them and
Yeah,
continue to
yeah,
ask for them.
right, right. Well, and continue to learn from them,
Mm.
and be ready for, gosh, this place was horrible. 1 star, right? Okay, give me an opportunity to
Mhm.
fix that.
Yeah. Yeah, because my wife last couple months was looking for some new pillows for us, and we don't know, she doesn't like memory foam, so hope you never sold for
Okay.
memory foam, okay?
No,
So,
never so for memory foam.
not a big
We're
fan.
good.
Yep. And the first place she went to, she found 6 or 8 potential. pillows. And then the
Yeah.
first thing she went to is, I want to read the comments from the people that bought it.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Well, and they matter.
Oh, big
Um,
time.
yeah,
Big time. Yeah.
for sure.
Uh, so what got you to BNI with all the traveling you've been doing, all the companies you've been working for, all the people you knew? What got you to BNI?
So I knew I was embarking on this on my own, essentially, right? So we've got the overarching Enradius company, and we've got people, but me in North Carolina, it's just me. And I know I needed to network with folks, and so I reached out to a few of my friends, and was like, hey, you built your business. How did you do it? What did you do? And two of the conversations I had, they were like BNI, BNI. That's how I did it. And so I started researching, looking, actually spoke with Stephen Hand. We
Mhm.
went through, he showed me the search, he showed me what to look for, how to look for someone who has my seat in that chapter already. And we isolated a couple different groups. I think I had three or four that I was going to go tour. And the second one I went to was Durham. And not a shocker, I absolutely adore Durham. My small business was in Durham. There was something about walking into clouds and how welcoming they were and the questions. I just felt at home and I felt at ease. And it turns out the person who recommended Durham to me was actually in the Durham chapter. His name's Patrick Hawker. He actually cuts my hair. Um, was and is my wife's best friend for 20 plus years, and actually married us last May.
Oh,
So
cool.
it sort of felt purposeful and like this is where I should be.
Nice. There's a trivia question. I don't know when we talked the other week if I laid this one on you, but for those of you that have seen the movie Bull Durham, remember when Nuke LaLoosh hits the mascot with the ball, right?
Yes. Yes.
That person in that costume is in your chapter.
No way.
I believe he's still in it, so that's your mission on Thursday. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'm not. I'm still on medical leave,
Oh,
so
that's
in a
right.
couple
Okay.
weeks.
Right.
Yes,
Yep.
a
But
couple
he
weeks.
he I believe
Next
he's still
week.
in the chapter. Yep. So
Get out of town.
yep. Yep. Still a great scene. Just hit the mascot.
Okay, just hit
So
the mask.
yeah.
That's amazing. I love it.
All right. So if I read my own handwriting right,
Okay.
you created Elevate Salon Institute.
Correct. So
Okay.
Elevate Salon Institute it is of itself a franchise
Okay.
system. So it's run by Salon Professional Education Company, and they have two different brands. They have a Redken brand and they have a L'Oreal brand. And so I helped
Ah,
was one of the co-owners of Elevate Salon Institute in downtown Durham.
all right. What made you do that, and what did you learn being on the other side of, "Hey, dude, you need to advertise with me"?
So I had reached a point, I think I was just turning 40. I reached a point where I wanted to do something crazy. I wanted to do something that I never would have thought I would ever do. And this was the perfect thing. And I wanted to build something from scratch because I also wanted to show my kids your life doesn't have to be linear.
Mm,
Your jobs can be all over the place. I mean, my dad's a dermatologist. He was a dermatologist. My wife's a pediatric nurse practitioner. She's been doing that for 20 years. But unless you're going into one of those two roles, maybe even a lawyer, your path could be all over the place. And I wanted to show my kids that that's something you can do, and it doesn't matter. Um, and I jumped in. And this is one of those cases where I was like, all right, if I build it, they'll come. Um, I did build it. They didn't come. I was advertising like crazy across all the different platforms. I had flyers all over downtown Durham. My tuition for the first three groups of classes that came in was only $5,000, which is like a fourth of what it typically would cost. And I was like, sure, I was going to have 80 some students. And I had 6,000 square foot of space with three students.
whoa.
And I immediately knew that I was just going to have to continue to dial for dollars. And so I was getting tons of text messages and calls from students. So I just kept persistence and calling and touring and telling the story. And why was this one person who doesn't know how to do hair, is not an esthetician by trade, why is he running this company? And so the story resonated. And by the end of closing it down, I think we graduated some 400 students, changed lives. Um, and, I think I learned that even if you don't make a profit, that doesn't mean you failed.
Mm. I just
So,
like the fact that you tried it.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
what, and we all have that fear. What if I
yeah,
fail? And which is legit, but
right.
what if you don't? Which is
Well,
legit as well.
and sometimes you learn more from your failures.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I learned that probably in the early stages, I didn't do enough due diligence, looking at leases and things like
Mm.
that. So there was a lot that I really was like, okay, now you need to step back. And the next thing that you do, you need to fully vet out and really look at all the gotchas that are going to come out of nowhere.
And now that you're back on the helping others side of business for the most part, what did you carry over from there to what you're doing now?
Um, that persistence, like sometimes it's not the first phone call. Usually it's not the first phone call. Sometimes it's the 20th or the 30th. And sometimes it is about adding that extra value, right? And providing extra services for someone that, maybe you don't get paid for, but it resonates with them.
Yeah, because no just might mean no today.
Right. I never liked maybe. I still don't like
Yep.
maybe. I
Yep.
love, I say this all the time. I'm really good with no. I know how to handle no. We can pivot off no. I don't like maybe. Don't give me a maybe.
Yeah, yeah, maybes. That's the parent equivalent of telling your little kid, "We'll see."
We'll see.
That's a
Yes,
hard
exactly.
no. That's a hard no.
No, that's, I know, right? Just might as well just give me the no.
Yeah, yeah. Just but I'm with you, and I've heard that from many successful salespeople. A yes or
Yeah.
a no. Yeah, I can deal with
Yep.
both.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
funny. I'm glad you brought that up. I've not heard that in a while. All right, so your wife, Megan, you mentioned earlier. Always enjoy
Yes.
asking my married guests, how did you and Megan meet? And you both tell the story the same way.
We do tell the story the same way. We reconnected. We were friends for a long time. So her dad was my pediatrician. Her mom was my French teacher. My mom was her chemistry teacher, and my dad was her mom's dermatologist. Um,
Okay.
so we reconnected after knowing each other for a long time, and it just clicked and worked.
And since all the families knew each other, what was their reaction when you guys told them you were going out?
They're like, okay, that makes sense. Okay, okay, all right, yeah, yeah. No, we like the same things. We're huge Dave Matthews fans. We've got 3 shows coming up this summer. We love dogs. We have 3 dogs on top of the 5 teenagers we have between us. We want a fourth. We like the big dogs. The next one will probably be a Bernese.
Okay.
So yeah, it just works, and yeah, our parents just got it. They're
Yep.
like we can tell it's going to work.
Where was the official first date?
Initial first date. Whoa. Margot's restaurant here in Raleigh.
Good call.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. I'd forgotten about Margot's, and we went and had a great dinner, and we've just enjoyed each other's company.
Good.
We could be doing nothing, and it'd be the best.
Yep.
So
I'm with you. Just like having my wife in the room. Yeah, we can not talk
yeah,
for an hour. That's fine. Just want to look over
right.
there and see her. Yeah. So when did you know? Okay, I think this may be going somewhere.
Early on, I was like, wow, I need this person in my life, and I do remember. It was a different proposal. So when we had started seeing each other, I'd flown down to be with my parents. I think it was right around Easter, or it might have been my dad's birthday. And then um, my mom was like, "You should get Megan something when you go home." And we were walking by a jewelry store on the way to brunch, and I was like, "Mom, no, 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 way too soon, way too soon, way too soon." But I had this plan hatched in my head because across the way from brunch was a boutique Hilton hotel called the Ray. And I was like, I want to bring Megan down here. She's never been down here. I want to stay at the Ray and we can walk around Del Rey. This is going to be great. And we did that. And about halfway through lunch, I was like, we're going to that jewelry store. And I knew it. I knew exactly where it was. So we walked down there and I walked in one way. She walked in a different way. I headed straight for like a case, saw the ring I was going to get, walked the other way. She walked in, found the same ring. And as soon as she put it on, I said, it's ours.
Wow.
And it was not your traditional diamond solitaires. It was just a gold band with like diamonds wrapped around. And we got a second one after we officially hitched and got a emerald to go in between.
Very nice. I love subtle mom, don't you?
Yes.
Honey, look,
yeah,
a jewelry
right?
store.
I'm like, what do we? No, way too soon. But literally, it stuck in my brain, and I was like, we're gonna do this.
That's
It's
why
gonna happen.
the moms are the best. They're the toughest people in the world because they got to put
They
up with
are.
everything from everybody, right? But man,
Yes.
their spidey sense is good.
I know it is really good, really, really good.
Now you have the blended family, 5 kids,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
How many are yours? Blood.
2 are mine.
Okay. So are either one of them showing signs of sales or digital world?
My daughter's probably going to be a math teacher. She's going to attend the University of Vermont next year. So no on that. Nash and I have a sports podcast together that had to go a little bit on hiatus just due to the knee and whatnot. And he's been with his mom the past month. But he's more of a sort of a sports marketer, sports analyst, but he also loves snakes. So it's like, I'm not sure where this kid's going to end up. Yeah, he's got all these snake books on top of loving sports stats and whatnot. So
Is that going to be the next sport created? Something involving snakes with bites
something
or
involving
something?
snakes.
Yeah.
It'll be on ESPN the Ocho. It'll be dodgeball with snakes.
All right, you in 1994, you enrolled at University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill. What was the plan?
The plan was to be an actor. I had drama during high school and even middle school. Middle school. No, junior high. 8th grade on was a way to get myself out of my shell. It was fun playing other people. It helped me express myself. And so I remember applying, but I remember putting down that I might do English, I might do pre-law, I might do acting. I don't know. I never agreed to anything, but I remember getting the card that says your major is going to be dramatic art, and I was like, oh, this is destiny. I need to be doing this. So that's really what I set out to do.
Okay, so then how do you end up at the Maryland School of Business to get an MBA from that?
Right. So I do some plays. I got a modeling agent and I got an acting agent and did one bit part in a movie. And yes, I do have an IMDb page. The movie is not worth watching. It really is bad. But I went to New York City and worked as a casting agent's assistant and just loved the business side of it, but didn't really want to move to New York, didn't really want to move to LA, sort of losing interest in being either on, in front of the camera or even, on the stage. And so I was like, immediately, I got to figure this out. I'm like a rising, rising junior. And I'm like, I got to figure this out now. So I started doing internships. I worked at an ad agency, a traditional ad agency. I worked at a software company right around the time that eBay came out. They were doing auction software. And then I worked in promotions for the G105 station here and just started learning different things and started taking communications classes and some advertising classes at the journalism school and just sort of started to shift my thinking. and whatnot. And so basically after that, and after I'd spent some time, between, McClatchy, Nando, and, doing the retail thing, like I've stopped learning, and I need to restart my brain. And so I was moving to DC. I wanted to continue to work. And so business school sounded like the perfect thing to sort of meet new people, see different things, learn different things. And I loved my experience there.
One of the reasons why I enjoy this show is I learn one thing every week. And for my next show, I'm actually going to start Googling all my guests to see if they have an IMDb page.
There you go. There you go.
And what was the name of your movie that was so bad you
It,
don't want to mention it by name?
it's called An Occasional Hell. So
Uh,
imagine trying to tell your grandparents who were
yep.
alive at the time that that's your movie. And I played a frat boy named Jimmy, which was not much of a stretch for me. It's not like I had to do some deep dive, character review and whatnot.
So real
So
quick, how does a role like that, even in a movie that nobody's hardly ever heard of, how does that come about?
as far as what getting
How'd
a
you get
role,
that?
or
Yeah.
so I had an agent at the time. I got an agent who was down in Wilmington, and I had headshots and a card that was being sent out. And so, he was basically, anytime something was being filmed in the area, was putting my name in the ring to audition. And it was, I couldn't, I don't know why my mom drove me down there, but that's even funny. But my mom drove me down to Charleston, South Carolina on Halloween night when I was, I think I was a sophomore, to go audition. And I was pretty sure I lost it. I was pretty sure that there was no way that they were going to choose me. And about 2.5 weeks later, I got a voicemail from my agent that I'd booked it. Um, and then I had to go tell my Shakespeare professor that I was going to miss his final exam for this movie called An Occasional Hell. Didn't feel like my finest moment.
Had a couple of songwriters on the show in BNI, and
Okay.
they tell stories of, every now and then I get some mailbox money. I'm assuming no mailbox money for you from An Occasional Hell, right?
Um, about the 2 or 3 months after, yeah. It was little. It was supposed to get feature release, but didn't make it to feature release. Made it on HBO late night.
All right. And for
Yeah,
folks, if you're not aware, the mailbox money is residuals for when it
yeah.
airs again and over again. What'd you get paid to do the movie?
$765, I believe, plus per diem, plus the hotel. Yeah, had a little trailer, or part of a trailer.
Yeah.
So it
And
was fun. It was with the scene was with Tom Berenger.
mhm. All right. How long were you there to film for your role?
So I drove down the night prior for costume, and then I was on set for probably 2 hours. It wasn't a huge scene. It was like maybe 6 lines.
Wait, you could not have brought your own high schoal stuff as your costume? I mean, weren't you wearing that
No,
then?
no, no, no. They had me in costume.
Looked well, that's probably what you wore at Carolina, right? When you were there.
It was eerily similar. It was eerily similar.
All righty, we got somebody with an IMDb page on the show. Excellent.
There we go.
All right, so now is the time for the no overthinking round.
Okay.
Snow or no snow?
No snow.
Would you rather sell a commercial or watch a commercial?
Oh, sell.
When you are a consumer at home, do you even watch commercials on TV?
Oh yeah, I totally do.
Okay.
No, I never skip the commercials
Okay.
because sometimes I get ideas.
Yep. I figured as much. Yeah. Uh, what's something people assume about your business that is totally wrong?
Um, that we can't reach the right customer and that we're just wasting their money.
Okay. I agree with you on that. If you could master one skill, what would it be?
Master one skill. I wish I was good at carpentry.
Oh, okay.
I'm
You're on your
horrible
own
with the
for that.
hammer.
I have no interest in
Yeah.
helping you. You're on your own for that. So,
Okay.
if and when they make a movie about you, who would you want to play you?
Brad Pitt, of course. Come on.
Now, which generation of Brad Pitt you talking about?
Oh, not the one who sold himself to sold his soul to the devil and looks the way he looks right now.
I'm with you.
Yeah, that guy.
I'm with you. Is your work email inbox organized or chaos?
Oh, it's totally organized. It becomes my to-do list. If it is sitting in my inbox, it is to be done.
Were you that way through high school? Organized?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I would say I teeter on the OCD side of things.
Okay. When you have managed people before,
Mm-hmm.
what's one word those folks would use to describe you as a boss?
Understanding.
Okay. Is there a guilty pleasure you have that not many people know about?
I love frozen peanut M&Ms.
Frozen.
Yeah, I want them. I want them out of the freezer.
Interesting. All right. I like that. That's new. When you are saying things to your kids, do you hear your dad's voice or your mom's voice in your head?
I think it's a combo of them. I think it's a total combo. It depends on the situation.
Yep, I'm with you on that. So, you a morning or an evening person?
I'm a morning person, and my wife's an evening
Yep,
person.
mine too. Yep.
Yep.
I'll be in bed at 8, she'll be in bed at 10:30, I'm up at 4:30, and she might be up at
Yeah.
9:30 AM, so I'm with you on that. What did you wanna be when you were growing up?
Um. So it waffled between a tennis player and an actor. Those were the two things.
Right? Did you always stand in front of the mirror with your hairbrush and pretend like you were talking or acting or something?
So I do a lot of walking around to learn things,
Mhm.
and so I think I more so than anything else, I would walk around and study. I'd walk around and learn my lines.
Ah,
So
okay. Oh,
I need to
so
be doing
then
something.
so if Megan sends you to the grocery store with 6 items, do you need to write all 6 of those down?
Yeah, usually I need to
But
because
back
I'll forget.
Yeah,
I'll forget at least one.
yeah. But back in the day, you were good for all 6, weren't you?
Right. Exactly.
Uh, what are you most excited about for your book of business for the rest of 2026?
I am excited about our new event targeting strategy and seeing that come to fruition and really um, taking events and playing off them and adding to them.
Somebody who's watching the show either is in sales or is going to be in sales. You touched on earlier about the connection and making it
Hmm.
personal. What's another good tip for them to have in mind if they want to be successful?
Um, don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah, and no is
Uh,
okay, right? Just
Right?
on to
Yeah.
the next
Well,
door.
and the next day is going to be better.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, folks, if you're trying to grow your business and you need it in the digital world, you have just met your next phone call. So we've been putting Matt's phone number up here. Please give him a call. Is there a website they can check out?
Sure. They could go to enradius.com as
Okay.
well to learn about Enradius overarching. And within there are links to the North Carolina Ad Network.
All right, and that's Enradius, right?
Correct.
All right. So
Correct.
please go check that out, folks. If you want to meet tomorrow's client, you got to do it digital because everything else is moving there. You'll be the last one that doesn't. Matt, thanks for being on the show. Really appreciate
Yeah, it's
having you
great.
on. Uh,
Thanks for having me.
Glad your knee is making progress, man.
Yeah, it's just a scar now. So
But
it's
the stories you'll tell about that scar, right?
I know.
Sounds good.
Exactly.
All right, glad having you on the show. Good luck with your rehab, and we will see everybody next time on Capital to the Coast BNI.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety. or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.